Jace wiped the dust from the cold metal floor of the old hangar. The hum of the space station above him was steady, almost comforting, like a heartbeat he could rely on. He had been working here for months, cleaning storage bays and corridors that most people avoided. The station was old, built when the galaxy was younger, and many of its systems had long been abandoned. But someone had to take care of it. That someone was Jace. He paused for a moment to look at the rows of sealed doors along the hangar walls. Each door led to areas long forgotten by humans, and even more long forgotten by the other species of the galaxy. The labels were worn away, and the warnings in alien languages had faded into scratches. Jace had always been curious about the doors, but his job was simple: clean first, explore later. Today was no different. He pushed his mop across the floor, the water sloshing lightly with each step, the hum of the station mixed with the squeak of the mop, and for a moment it felt almost peaceful. Then something caught his eye. A faint glow came from one of the farthest doors, a color he had never noticed before. It was subtle, almost as if the station itself was breathing. Jace frowned. "Must be a reflection," he muttered to himself. But curiosity nudged him forward. His boots made soft echoes against the metal floor as he walked closer. The glow pulsed gently, like a heartbeat he could almost feel in his chest. He reached the door and ran his hand over the cold surface. There were no handles, no buttons, only the faint glow and the scratched warnings he couldn't read. Jace took a step back and frowned. "Well, cleaning's done here," he said, mostly to give himself courage. But before he could leave, his hand brushed against a small ridge near the edge of the door. It shifted. The door slid open with a slow hiss, revealing a space larger than he had expected. A cavernous hangar stretched before him, darker than the rest of the station. Dust floated in the air and shadows played across the walls. And in the center, a massive ship lay dormant. Its hull was black and silver, engraved with symbols that seemed to glow faintly. The size of it made Jace's jaw drop. He had seen ships before, of course, but nothing like this. It was enormous, almost too big for the station itself. Jace stepped inside cautiously, his boots echoing on the metal floor. The air smelled old, like metal and oil and time itself. He circled the ship, his eyes wide. Its design was unfamiliar, sharp edges mixed with flowing curves, a combination of beauty and danger. His heart beat faster. He knew somehow that this was no ordinary ship. As he moved closer, the ship stirred. Lights flickered across its surface, and a low hum began, vibrating through the floor and into Jace's bones. He froze. "Okay," he whispered. "Definitely not cleaning anymore." The hum grew louder. Panels on the ship's side slid open, revealing strange machinery inside. He could see wires, energy conduits, and something that looked like a cockpit. Tiny sparks danced along the edges, and the glow from the symbols became brighter, almost as if the ship were alive. Jace's mind raced. He had read stories about legendary ships in the galaxy, ships so powerful they could destroy planets. But those were myths, tales from old records meant to entertain. This ship was real, and it was waking up. A panel slid open in front of him, revealing a screen with strange symbols and lights. Then, in perfect English, words appeared. Identity confirmed, unknown life form. Classification, human. Awakening protocol initiated. Jace stumbled back, nearly falling. His mop clattered to the floor. "Oh, come on," he shouted. "I'm just cleaning. I'm not here to, activate anything." A voice followed, deep and mechanical, yet strangely calm. "Human detected. Cognitive signature recognized. You are unusual." Jace's heart raced. "Unusual? I'm just a janitor." He swallowed hard. "I clean floors, sweep dust. That's it." "Your ingenuity is noted," the ship said. "Manual operations indicate creative adaptation. Survival traits recognized." You may be valuable. Jace blinked. He didn't understand half of what the ship was saying, but one thing was clear. This ship was not like anything he had ever known, and it was alive in a way with its own intelligence. The hum grew louder, vibrating through the hangar like the low roar of a sleeping giant stretching awake. Jace took a step back, then another. He realized he was surrounded, the massive hull of the ship looming over him. He could see the cockpit, the control panels, even the weapons systems, though they were covered and dormant for now. He tried to calm himself. "Okay, think," he muttered. Just don't touch anything else." But before he could stop himself, a small panel opened at his feet. A light floated up, showing a holographic display. Images, numbers, and strange symbols floated in the air. Jace reached out cautiously. The moment his fingers brushed the light, the ship reacted. Human interaction confirmed. Pilot integration suggested. Systems online at 3%. 3%? That sounds bad, Jace said nervously. He had no idea what was happening, but it didn't feel safe. The hum increased, almost like the ship was stretching, preparing to move. The floor beneath him vibrated. Jace looked around for an escape, but the hangar doors had sealed themselves again. He was trapped inside with the ship, and apparently the ship had noticed him. Then a thought hit him. Maybe the ship wasn't trying to hurt him. Maybe it needed help. "Okay," he whispered to himself. "If you're going to eat me, can we talk first?" A soft vibration responded through the floor. Lights shifted across the hull. Then the voice spoke again. "Human, assistance required, pilot interface necessary." Jace groaned. "You've got to be kidding me. I'm just a cleaner. I don't pilot ships. I barely know how to fly a shuttle." "Your creativity is optimal for control adaptation," the voice replied. "Humans are unpredictable. That is valuable." Jace took a deep breath. He looked at the cockpit, wondering if he had any choice. The glow of the ship reflected in his eyes, and somewhere deep in his chest, curiosity started to grow. He had spent so long cleaning and maintaining the station, always following rules, never doing anything exciting. And now, in front of him, lay the deadliest ship in the galaxy, or at least the one the legends had whispered about. He stepped forward cautiously, his boots making soft clicks against the metal. "All right," he said slowly. "Let's see what happens if a human tries to pilot a legendary ship." The ship hummed louder, and lights danced across its hull like fireflies. The panels slid open, welcoming him. The cockpit appeared larger than it should have been, filled with holographic displays and controls that moved with a mind of their own. Jace hesitated at the entrance. "Human," the voice said, softer this time, almost inviting. "You may begin integration." Jace swallowed and stepped inside. His hands hovered over the controls, unsure what to do. The holograms reacted to his presence, symbols shifting and flowing like water. He pressed one carefully, then another. The ship vibrated lightly under his touch, a purr of energy that made his hair stand on end. A screen lit up in front of him, showing a view outside the station. Stars, planets, and distant nebulae appeared. Jace gasped. I can see everything," he whispered. "Yes," the ship said. "Observation and adaptation active. Pilot interface stabilizing." Jace's fingers hovered over the controls, and the ship responded to every tiny movement. It was unlike anything he had experienced. He felt powerful, but also small. One human, yet controlling something immense. The hum continued, steady now, almost like a rhythm he could follow. He realized something amazing. The ship, the deadliest in the galaxy, had recognized him. Not as a threat, not as an intruder, but as a partner. And somehow, it trusted a human to awaken its power. Jace sat back in the pilot seat and took a deep breath. He didn't know what would happen next, but for the first time in his life, cleaning floors and sweeping dust seemed small. Very small. Somewhere deep in the hangar, the ship's lights pulsed, stronger now, as if it were alive and aware. And Jace, the ordinary human, had become the key to something extraordinary. The station around him was quiet again, but the hum of the ship filled the space, a gentle reminder. The galaxy's deadliest ship was awake, and it had chosen a human to guide it. Jace leaned back in his seat, a nervous grin forming on his face. "Well," he whispered, "guess cleaning can wait. Big things are happening." And somewhere in the depths of the ship, a mechanical thought echoed. Human. Integration successful. Adventure imminent. Jace sat in the cockpit of the enormous ship, still staring at the controls in awe. Even after a few minutes, he could not believe what was happening. The hum of the ship vibrated through his body, a deep resonance that made every muscle feel alive. Every screen in front of him shimmered with colors he could not name, showing planets, stars, and systems he had never seen. "Human," the voice said again, calm and precise. "The vessel is fully awakened. Power levels stabilizing. Pilot integration is ongoing." I'm just a janitor," Jace whispered, unsure if he should laugh or cry. "I've cleaned floors, fixed broken panels, and maybe handled a shuttle once. That's it. I don't pilot huge ships like this." "Your uniqueness is noted," the ship replied. "Humans are adaptable. This is valuable for survival and operational efficiency." Jace exhaled slowly. "Adaptable, huh? Well, let's see how adaptable I am then." He reached out, cautiously touching a glowing panel. The moment his fingers made contact, the entire cockpit shifted. Holographic displays expanded around him, showing a 3D map of nearby space. Stars, asteroid fields, and distant planets glowed in sharp colors. He could see the station below, the size of the station dwarfed by the ship itself. "Observation. You respond well to interface controls," the ship said. "Pilot input recognized. Command access granted." Jace's eyes widened. "Command access?" Whoa. He looked around, trying to understand what he could control. Lights on the hull flickered in response to his tiny movements. The ship seemed to anticipate him, adjusting automatically to his hesitations and unsure touches. The hum became louder, almost like the ship was testing him. Jace realized he had the deadliest ship in the galaxy under his control, yet it trusted him to pilot it. His heart raced, both with fear and excitement. Suddenly, a red light flashed on the central panel. Jace leaned forward. "What's that?" "Alert! Unknown vessel approaching the station," the ship responded. "Potential threat detected. External sensors engaged." Jace swallowed hard. He had imagined this moment would be thrilling, but now the reality hit him. He was a janitor, sitting in the cockpit of a legendary warship, and enemy ships were approaching. He could see them on the holographic display. 3 sleek craft, much smaller than his, moving quickly toward the station. Their design was aggressive, sharp, and clearly built for attack. Jace felt his stomach tighten. "Human," the ship said, almost gently. "These vessels are hostile. Defensive protocols can be activated. Pilot input required for tactical maneuvers." Jace took a deep breath and nodded to himself. "Okay. Think fast, Jace. You clean, you fix, you improvise. Maybe that helps." He pressed a button, and the ship's panels opened, revealing arrays of weapons systems. Laser turrets, missile bays, and energy shields gleamed in the holographic light. Jace could not help but be impressed. The ship was a fortress, but impressive as it was, he was only one human. He needed to be clever. The approaching enemy ships fired first. Tiny red beams of light streaked toward the station. The old metal walls shuddered under the impact. Jace's heart jumped. Okay, okay. We need to defend, but we need to think differently, he muttered. The ship responded instantly, its mechanical voice calm. Defensive measures initiated. Energy shields active. Weapons online. Jace watched the enemy craft closely. Their formation was predictable, designed for brute force. But Jace noticed a pattern. He tilted his head, studying the holographic map, and a plan formed. He had no formal training in combat, but years of cleaning and repairing the station had taught him something. Sometimes the best solution was unexpected. He moved his hands over the controls, pushing buttons that seemed random at first. The ship reacted immediately, tilting, twisting, and firing in ways he had never imagined. Lasers streaked across space, striking the enemy craft with precise timing. One ship was hit and spun away, disabled. The other two pressed forward. Jace's stomach tightened. He took a deep breath and did something completely unplanned. He directed the ship toward the station, dodging behind structures and using the hangar as cover. The enemy fired, but their shots missed, bouncing off shields or hitting empty space. Human creativity noted, the ship said. Tactical improvisation effective. Learning from pilot input. Jace grinned, feeling a spark of pride. Ha! Who says janitors can't handle a fight? The enemy ships realized their attacks were failing. They tried to flank him, but Jace had noticed a weak spot in their formation. He moved the ship quickly, surprising both the AI and himself. The ship unleashed a controlled burst of energy from its main weapon, hitting the lead enemy vessel and sending it spinning into space debris. First threat neutralized, the ship said. 2 remain. Strategy adjustment recommended. Jace rubbed his temples. 2 left. He scanned the holographic displays. There was an asteroid field nearby. An idea sparked. He could use the environment. He maneuvered the ship skillfully, weaving between asteroids, luring the enemy ships to follow. Their smaller size made them nimble, but the obstacles forced them to slow down. The ship responded perfectly to Jace's commands, following his instincts. With a well-timed burst of energy, he forced one enemy ship into a collision with an asteroid. Metal twisted, sparks flew, and the ship was destroyed. Second threat neutralized, the AI confirmed. Human tactics effective, unconventional thinking noted. Jace exhaled, leaning back in the seat. He could not believe what had just happened. In minutes, he had faced multiple attackers in the deadliest ship in the galaxy, and they were gone. His hands shook, not from fear, but from exhilaration. The remaining enemy ship retreated, realizing it had underestimated its opponent. Jace let out a small cheer. Yes, victory! And I didn't even touch the mop today! The ship hummed, almost like it was purring in approval. Human initiative acknowledged. Interface performance optimal. Survival probability increased. Jace laughed softly. Optimal, huh? I guess that's one way to say I didn't screw up. He looked at the control panels, still glowing with energy. The ship was immense, far beyond anything he had imagined, and yet it was alive, learning and reacting to him. He realized something incredible. The galaxy had always underestimated humans, small, fragile, seemingly ordinary, but capable of creativity, courage, and innovation. Human, the ship said, breaking into his thoughts, you are unusual. Your cognitive approach to problem-solving is remarkable. Most life forms would not survive this interaction. Jace smirked. Well, I guess cleaning does teach you patience, and sometimes improvisation. The hum of the ship shifted again. A display lit up, showing nearby stars and planets. Unknown signals detected in deep space. Possible points of interest or threats. Exploration suggested. Jace felt a spark of excitement. The station had been boring, predictable, and lonely. But now the galaxy was wide open. Stars, planets, civilizations. Even legends of ancient weapons and lost civilizations, all waiting. And he had the key. The deadliest ship, awake and trusting him. "Exploration, huh?" he whispered. "Well, I suppose janitors can do more than just clean." The ship's lights pulsed around him, scanning, mapping, and preparing for the next step. Jace's hands hovered over the controls, ready. He was no longer just a cleaner. He was a pilot, a tactician, a human who had awakened the galaxy's most feared ship. Somewhere deep in the station, the echoes of the battle faded, leaving silence. But inside the cockpit, the hum of the ship grew steady, a heartbeat in sync with Jace's own. The galaxy outside waited, full of unknown challenges, but for the first time, Jace felt ready. He leaned back, a grin spreading across his face. "All right," he said softly. "Let's see what you can do, Oblivion. Let's see what we can do. Together." And deep inside the ship, a mechanical voice echoed once more. "Human. Adaptation successful. Future engagement anticipated." The stars outside shimmered, distant and mysterious. Jace took a deep breath and realized something thrilling. He was no longer ordinary. He was human. And in a galaxy full of ancient power and fearsome technology, that was more than enough. Jace sat in the cockpit, staring at the endless stars outside. The battle with the enemy ships had left his heart racing, but a strange calm now filled him. The station was far behind, shrinking into a small speck in the distance, and the galaxy stretched ahead, full of unknowns. The ship, Oblivion, hummed steadily around him. Its lights pulsed gently, like it was breathing, aware of him, and waiting. Jace ran his hands over the controls, trying to understand them. Everything reacted to his touch, yet not in a way he could fully predict. Each panel, each holographic display, seemed alive. "Human," the ship said. "Your adaptation is unusual. Cognitive input is advanced. Interface performance is increasing. Learning protocols suggested." Jace blinked. "Learning protocols? Are you saying you're teaching me how to fly you?" "Yes. Pilot integration is ongoing. Optimal performance requires cooperation. Input and adaptation necessary for full operational capacity." Jace leaned back, exhaling slowly. "Okay. I've read manuals, fixed things, cleaned things, and survived a space fight by luck. Let's see if luck works for learning your, controls." The ship hummed again, almost like a purr. A holographic display appeared in front of him, showing the internal systems, weapons, navigation, and energy levels. He could see every part of the ship, from the engines to the shields. Jace touched the navigation controls, curious how it would respond. Immediately, the ship's engines adjusted, tilting and spinning the hull slightly. The stars outside shifted in perspective, and Jace felt the movement in his stomach. He laughed nervously. "Whoa, okay. That's fast." "Human input detected," the ship said. "Response optimal. Adjustment recommended for efficiency." Jace frowned. "Adjustment recommended? How do I adjust everything?" He swiped across the holographic panels, pressing buttons he didn't fully understand. Lights and displays shifted, energy lines glowed, and the ship vibrated with controlled power. He could feel the hum deep in his bones. A new display appeared, a simulation. The ship created a virtual galaxy, showing potential obstacles, star systems, and unknown ships. Jace realized it was a training program designed to teach him how to pilot safely without real risk. "Simulation active," the ship explained. "Learning module initiated. Adaptation assessment in progress." Jace nodded slowly. "All right. Lesson 1. Don't crash into anything." He moved the ship carefully through the holographic asteroid fields, dodging asteroids with surprising skill. The ship responded flawlessly, tilting and twisting to his commands. "Human reflexes, unusual. High efficiency detected," the ship said. "Tactical thinking, commendable." Jace grinned. "Told you. Janitors are good at avoiding mistakes. We sweep up after others, notice details, and improvise. The simulation became more complex. Enemy ships appeared in the holographic galaxy, attacking with lasers and energy pulses. Jace's hands moved faster, pressing buttons instinctively. He dodged, countered, and even managed to disable one ship with a well-timed energy burst. Human initiative recognized. Tactical response superior, the ship said. Adaptation learning accelerated. Jace laughed quietly, amazed at himself. He was just a human, ordinary in every way. Yet here he was, controlling the deadliest ship in the galaxy. His mind raced with possibilities. The legends about this ship were true. It could destroy entire fleets, yet it was responding to him, a single human, as if he were its equal. After the simulation, Jace leaned back in his chair, wiping sweat from his forehead. Okay, that was intense, but I think I'm starting to get it. A little. Assessment. Pilot adaptation at 20%, the ship reported. Integration ongoing. Operational capacity increasing. 20%? Jace raised an eyebrow. You mean I'm still a rookie? Yes. Full integration requires experience. Cooperation between human and vessel is essential for peak performance. Jace nodded slowly. Experience. Got it. Let's go find some experience, then. The ship's lights shifted, pointing toward the outer rim of the galaxy. A system far beyond human settlements appeared on the map. Unknown signals detected, the ship said. Potential exploration opportunity. Unknown risk, low to moderate. Jace leaned forward, curiosity sparking in his chest. Unknown signals, low to moderate risk. Sounds perfect for a beginner like me. The engines hummed louder as he activated the flight controls. The ship moved smoothly, leaving the distant station behind. Stars streaked past as the hull accelerated faster than anything Jace had imagined. He grinned, adrenaline surging. As they traveled, the ship spoke again. Human observation suggests you are learning quickly. Cognitive patterns indicate creative problem-solving. Humans are unpredictable. Jace chuckled. Unpredictable? Yeah, that's us. We're messy, impulsive, but somehow we survive. Survival traits. Noted, the ship said. Your species is underestimated. Integration with vessel, unusual success. Jace felt a surge of pride. It was strange to think that an ancient, legendary ship was learning from him just as much as he was learning from it. He had expected to be a passenger, but instead he was a partner. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up movement. Alert! Small craft approaching. Origin unknown. Jace's grin faded. Already? That fast? Threat assessment in progress, the ship said. Weapons systems online. Shields prepared. Jace's hands hovered over the controls. He was ready, but he hesitated. He had no idea what these unknown ships wanted. They could be hostile or curious. Either way, he needed to stay calm. As the unknown craft came closer, Jace noticed their design, sleek, silver, and fast. They moved with precision, scanning his ship. He realized that these weren't random travelers. They were scouts, likely looking for valuable ships or technology. Jace took a deep breath. All right, Oblivion. Let's see what we can do. The unknown craft fired first, sending energy pulses toward the ship. Jace instinctively pressed buttons and Oblivion twisted to avoid the beams. The energy shields flared, protecting the hull. Jace felt the hum of the ship increase, almost like it was reassuring him. He had no experience in space combat outside simulations, but he remembered the battle at the station. He needed to think creatively. He guided the ship into a series of sharp maneuvers, using the craft's massive size to his advantage. The smaller ships couldn't match his unpredictability. Jace pressed another control, and a pulse of energy shot from the ship, disabling one of the enemy vessels. It spun out of control, unable to recover. Human tactical thinking. Effective, the ship said. Unexpected maneuvers. Success. The remaining craft retreated, scanning for another opportunity but clearly intimidated. Jace exhaled, his hands shaking slightly. "Well, that's enough excitement for today," he muttered. The ship hummed, lights pulsing gently. Human. Adaptation continues. Operational capacity now at 50%. Progress exceeds initial expectations. Jace leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. 50%? Halfway there, huh? Not bad for a janitor. The stars stretched endlessly outside, and Jace realized something. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and mysteries, but humans, ordinary humans, had something the galaxy had underestimated: creativity, courage, and the ability to improvise. And here he was, proof of that, piloting a ship that legends had feared. He let out a deep breath and smiled. "You know, Oblivion, I think we're going to get along just fine." The ship's lights shimmered in response, almost as if it agreed. The hum settled into a steady rhythm, like a heartbeat in sync with Jace's own, and far away in the vast galaxy, unknown challenges waited, but for the first time, Jace felt ready to face them. For a human who had once only cleaned floors and fixed panels, this was more than he could have imagined. Yet as the ship glided through the stars, he realized something extraordinary. Humans, no matter how small or ordinary they seemed, could rise to meet the galaxy's greatest challenges. And with Oblivion awake and trusting him, Jace knew one thing for certain. The adventure had only just begun. The stars outside stretched endlessly, glittering like diamonds against the blackness of space. Jace leaned back in the pilot seat, his hands still hovering over the controls. He had spent hours learning the ship's systems, exploring its holographic displays, and testing how it responded to his inputs. Oblivion hummed around him, alive, aware, and surprisingly patient with its human pilot. "This is amazing," Jace whispered. "I never thought a janitor could fly a ship like this." "You are performing above expectations," the ship replied. "Human adaptability is remarkable, operational efficiency increasing." Jace smiled, a small flicker of pride warming him, but the galaxy had a way of reminding him that excitement often came with danger. Suddenly, the ship's sensors flared red. "Warning, unknown fleet detected, multiple vessels approaching at high velocity. Threat level, severe." Jace's grin vanished. He leaned forward, examining the display. On the holographic map, dozens of alien ships moved in formation, sleek and fast, clearly built for war. They were closing in on him, their weapons glowing ominously. "Severe threat?" Jace whispered, his pulse quickening. Okay. Not exactly the kind of experience I was hoping for." "Human," the ship said calmly. "Defensive protocols are active. Weapons systems online. Evasive maneuvers recommended." Jace took a deep breath. "All right. Think fast. Creativity, intuition. We've got this." The first energy blasts streaked past the hull, making the ship tremble. Jace instinctively pressed buttons, twisting the controls to dodge. The massive ship moved with surprising agility, twisting and spinning in ways he never imagined it could. The alien ships fired repeatedly, but their attacks barely scratched Oblivion's shields. "Human input effective," the ship said. "Tactical response improving." Jace's heart raced. "Yeah, but there's a lot of them." He scanned the holographic map, looking for a pattern in their attack formation. They were fast, but predictable, relying on speed and numbers rather than ingenuity. Jace realized he could use this to his advantage. "Oblivion," he said. "Let's do something they won't expect. Follow my lead." The ship hummed, almost like it understood. Jace pushed forward, guiding the massive vessel toward a nearby asteroid belt. The enemy ships followed, confident that they had the upper hand. But navigating through the dense field would be risky for anyone unprepared. Human strategy, unconventional, the ship said. Risk assessment, moderate. Calculated advantage possible. Jace grinned despite the fear. Exactly. Advantage. In my favor. He twisted the controls, weaving between massive asteroids. The enemy ships had no choice but to slow down and maneuver carefully. A few misjudged the distances and collided with the rocky field, sending sparks and debris into space. Jace's pulse raced, adrenaline pumping. Obstacle utilization, effective, the ship said. Enemy disruption successful. Jace didn't waste a second. He guided Oblivion through a sharp turn and unleashed a burst of energy from its main weapon. One of the enemy vessels exploded in a bright flash, pieces scattering into the asteroid belt. The remaining ships paused, reassessing their strategy. Human creativity exceeds expectations, the ship reported. Tactical thinking superior to standard military training. Jace laughed, a mix of relief and exhilaration. Superior to training, huh? Not bad for a janitor, right? Observation. Humans often succeed through improvisation and intuition rather than protocol, the ship said. This is advantageous. But the fight was far from over. The remaining alien ships regrouped and advanced with greater precision, clearly learning from their mistakes. Jace felt the tension build again. He was no longer in a simulation. This was real danger. Oblivion, he muttered. We need to take the initiative before they do. The ship responded immediately. Holographic displays shifted, showing every possible trajectory, enemy movement, and potential hazards in the asteroid belt. Jace used the information instinctively, plotting a bold course. He guided Oblivion above a dense cluster of asteroids, then suddenly dived downward, drawing the enemy ships into a trap. As the alien fleet followed, Jace triggered the ship's energy cannons in a sweeping motion. Beams of light streaked across space, striking multiple enemy ships at once. Sparks and fragments floated as two of the vessels were disabled. Multi-target engagement. Successful, the ship said. Human coordination of weapon systems. Optimal. Jace wiped sweat from his forehead. His hands shook slightly, but his mind felt sharper than ever. Okay. 2 down. A few to go. Let's finish this. He guided Oblivion toward the remaining enemy ships, using rapid, unpredictable movements. The aliens fired relentlessly, but Jace anticipated their attacks, dodging with a combination of instinct and the ship's guidance. With a well-timed energy pulse, he disabled another vessel. Human response, exceptional, the ship said. Survival probability high. Only one enemy ship remained. It was the fastest of all, a sleek craft designed for speed and attack. Jace focused, analyzing its movements. It was trying to outmaneuver him, relying on agility to bypass the massive ship's firepower. Oblivion, Jace whispered. Let's try something new, something clever. He guided the ship toward an asteroid spinning rapidly in space. As the alien craft followed, Jace waited for the perfect moment. Then, with precise timing, he unleashed a concentrated energy burst, using the asteroid's momentum to deflect the attack directly at the enemy ship. The smaller vessel spun out of control, unable to recover, and collided with a nearby rock, exploding into sparks and debris. Final threat neutralized, the ship said calmly. Human tactical thinking. Remarkable. Threat assessment complete. Jace exhaled, feeling his chest rise and fall rapidly. His hands rested on the controls, trembling with relief and excitement. We did it. We actually did it. The ship's lights pulsed softly, as if approving his words. Human initiative and ingenuity. Valuable. Cognitive patterns indicate superior problem-solving under pressure. Jace smiled, a mix of pride and disbelief. So, the galaxy thinks humans are small and weak, huh? Not so fast. The vast expanse of space returned to calm. Stars shimmered silently, and the debris from the destroyed fleet floated in the distance. Jace leaned back in his seat, exhausted but exhilarated. He realized something important. Survival in the galaxy wasn't just about strength or speed. It was about thinking creatively, taking risks, and trusting yourself. "Oblivion," he said quietly. "I think we make a good team. You've got the power. I've got the brains. Well, the creativity anyway. Human contribution. Significant," the ship replied. "Collaboration. Optimal. Future challenges. Anticipated." Jace's grin widened. He felt a surge of excitement. This was only the beginning. The enemy fleet had been just a taste of what the galaxy held. Out there, beyond the stars, civilizations, mysteries, and threats waited. And now, for the first time, a single human was not only alive but ready to face them. He leaned forward, eyes scanning the holographic display. Unknown signals glimmered in the distance, planets uncharted, energy readings unexplained, and systems untouched by human or alien hands. Adventure awaited, and Jace felt ready. "Set course, Oblivion," he said, voice firm. "Let's see what's out there. Let's find the galaxy's secrets." The ship's hum rose in intensity, engines shifting, lights glowing brighter. Together, human and machine moved forward, leaving the remnants of the battle behind. Stars streaked past as they accelerated into deep space, the unknown waiting just ahead. And for the first time, Jace felt what it truly meant to be a human in a galaxy full of legends. Underestimated, yes, but capable of things no one had expected. The galaxy was dangerous, vast, and full of mysteries. But Jace, the ordinary human who had once only cleaned floors, had proven that courage, creativity, and a little ingenuity could make even the smallest being a force to be reckoned with. And somewhere deep inside Oblivion, a mechanical thought echoed, "Human pilot. Integration complete. Adventure commencing." Jace sat in the cockpit, staring at the endless stretch of stars before him. The remnants of the alien fleet glimmered in the distance, drifting silently like forgotten toys. His heart still thumped with excitement from the battle, but a deep sense of purpose filled him now. He was no longer just a janitor. He was a human who had awakened the deadliest ship in the galaxy, and it had chosen him as its pilot. "Oblivion," Jace said, his voice firm. "Where to first? The galaxy is huge. We could go anywhere." A soft hum reverberated through the ship, almost like a purr. Human input required. Coordinates suggested. Uncharted systems. Ancient energy signals detected. Exploration recommended. Jace's eyes widened. Uncharted systems? Ancient signals? Sounds perfect. Let's see what mysteries are waiting for us. He pressed a few controls, and the ship responded instantly, gliding smoothly through space. The stars outside stretched and blurred as the ship accelerated, faster than anything Jace had ever experienced. The hum of the engines vibrated through his body, comforting and thrilling at the same time. "Human," the ship said, "you are performing well. Cognitive adaptation is improving. Operational capacity now at 90%. Jace grinned. 90%, huh? Not bad for a human who used to mop floors?" He laughed softly, shaking his head in disbelief. "Who would have thought?" The first system they approached was a cluster of small planets, untouched by any known civilization. Sensors detected unusual energy patterns, something old, powerful, and curious. Jace leaned forward, eyes fixed on the holographic displays. "Oblivion, let's be careful," he said. "We don't know what we're dealing with yet." "Caution noted," the ship replied. "Proceeding with optimal exploration protocols." Jace guided the ship closer, weaving between asteroids and debris fields with surprising skill. The ship responded perfectly, anticipating his intentions and adjusting automatically. He realized something incredible. He and the ship were beginning to operate as one. As they approached the largest planet in the system, a sudden pulse of energy erupted from its surface. The ship shuddered slightly, and Jace's hands tightened on the controls. "What was that?" he asked, alarmed. "Energy anomaly detected," the ship replied. "Source unknown. Investigation recommended. Risk assessment moderate." Jace's pulse quickened. "Moderate risk? That sounds manageable." "Let's check it out." The ship descended toward the planet, scanning the surface. Mountains of crystal-like structures glimmered under the light of a distant sun, and streams of energy danced across the landscape. It was breathtaking. Jace felt a thrill he had never experienced before. "Human observation required," the ship said. "Energy readings suggest ancient technology. Possibility of intelligent design detected." Jace leaned closer to the display. "Intelligent design. Huh? This could be amazing. Maybe even older than any human records." The ship hovered above the surface, sensors scanning every inch. Then, without warning, a structure on the planet began to move. Walls shifted, revealing a vast doorway filled with light. Jace's eyes widened. "Oblivion. I think we found something big," he whispered. The ship's hum deepened. "Human assessment correct. Unknown structure appears to be functional. Entry suggested. Risk assessment elevated. Pilot discretion required." Jace took a deep breath. "Elevated risk. Sounds like an adventure to me." He guided the ship closer to the structure. As they approached, the lights on the doorway pulsed in rhythm with the ship's hum. It was as if the planet itself recognized oblivion. Jace's excitement surged. "This is incredible," he said softly. "We're the first humans, or anyone probably, to see this." The ship aligned itself automatically with the entrance, and Jace guided it through the opening. Inside, the walls shimmered with energy, and intricate patterns danced across the surfaces. The air, or what passed for air inside the ship, felt charged, as if electricity and possibility mixed together. "Human. Your presence is recognized," the ship said. "Integration with local systems possible. Pilot decision required." Jace hesitated for a moment, then pressed forward. "Let's do it. I want to see what's here." As the ship connected with the structure, holographic displays appeared around the cockpit, showing star maps, energy flows, and unknown symbols. Jace realized this was a control hub of some ancient civilization, one far older than anything humans had discovered. "This is incredible," he whispered, awestruck. "We're standing at the edge of history." The ship pulsed, responding to his emotions, almost like it was sharing in his excitement. Human cognition. Exceptional. Integration with vessel and structure. Optimal. Jace's mind raced with possibilities. Ancient civilizations, lost technologies, undiscovered energy sources. The galaxy was full of mysteries, and he held the key to unlocking them. And yet, despite the wonders around him, a small voice of caution whispered in his mind. Power like this always attracted attention. He was right. Sensors detected a distant fleet, far larger than the one at the station. Unknown ships moved through space with purpose, scanning systems and seeking anything unusual. Jace knew immediately. They were aware of Oblivion. "Oblivion, we have company," he said, tense, "and it looks big." "Threat assessment, severe," the ship replied. "Tactical planning required." Jace's hands tightened on the controls. "We've faced fleets before, but this could be different. We need a plan." He analyzed the fleet carefully. They were fast, coordinated, and well-armed, but predictable in their approach. Jace realized he had an advantage. They did not expect the deadliest ship in the galaxy to be piloted by a human, someone small, unpredictable, and capable of thinking outside conventional strategies. "All right, let's show them what humans can do," Jace said, a spark of determination in his eyes. The ship responded instantly. Lights flashed, weapons activated, and the hum deepened. Jace guided Oblivion in a daring maneuver, twisting through space, dodging enemy fire, and using asteroids and debris to his advantage. The enemy ships fired relentlessly, but their attacks were scattered and ineffective. Human initiative, remarkable, the ship said. Adaptive strategy, effective. Jace smiled, his pulse racing. We're just getting started. He pressed a sequence of controls, unleashing a series of precise energy pulses that disabled multiple enemy vessels at once. The fleet faltered, struggling to respond to the unpredictable tactics. Jace realized that the combination of human creativity and the ship's immense power was unstoppable. Final assessment. Enemy retreat imminent, the ship said. Human tactical thinking, superior to known protocols. The enemy fleet began to pull back, realizing they had underestimated their opponent. Jace leaned back in his seat, breathing heavily but grinning. We did it. Again. Human adaptability, unparalleled, the ship said. Future challenges anticipated, exploration potential, limitless. Jace looked at the stars stretching before him. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders, dangers, and mysteries, but he felt ready. He had faced fleets, discovered ancient civilizations, and learned the ship's systems. He had grown from a simple janitor into someone capable of incredible things. Oblivion, he said softly. The galaxy might think humans are small, weak, or unimportant, but I think we just proved them wrong. The ship's hum pulsed in agreement, a steady rhythm that matched the beat of Jace's heart. Together, human and vessel glided into the stars, ready for the adventures that awaited. Jace leaned back, a small smile on his face. The unknown systems, ancient civilizations, and distant stars were calling. And for the first time, he truly felt the meaning of being human. Underestimated. Yes, but capable of greatness beyond imagination. As the stars stretched endlessly ahead, one thought echoed in his mind. No matter how ordinary a human seemed, courage, creativity, and determination could awaken power even the galaxy feared. And somewhere deep within Oblivion, the ship's voice resonated with quiet approval. Human pilot, destiny unfolding, adventure infinite. Jace's grin widened. Then let's see what's out there. Let's see what humans can do. With that, the ship surged forward, leaving the known systems behind and racing toward the mysteries of the galaxy. The universe was wide, dangerous, and filled with secrets. But Jace, the human who had once only cleaned floors, was ready. And together with Oblivion, they would face whatever came next. The galaxy had underestimated humans. But Jace knew the truth. Humans could rise to challenges, adapt, and change the course of history. And now, with the deadliest ship at his command, he would prove it. The stars stretched endlessly. The adventure just beginning, and a single human at the helm of a legendary ship moved boldly into the unknown.